Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series, a weekend cast. Haha, you didn't see that one coming, did you? Well, I thought it was important. We've been a little light on content, not just this week, I think last week as well. It's been a tough couple of weeks, and with school holidays quickly approaching, I thought it was important we get as much content out as quickly as possible before I have to wrestle with the kids for a little bit of peace and quiet to get these done. So I've got some tip-top pro level ladder action on the cards for you guys this afternoon, and I don't have any bits of news or information to bring you at the beginning of this one, so we can go straight to the action. As we said, it's going to be a ladder match, and that action is going to take place on Certis Major. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are ready, and although the Omnis aren't finished yet, I'm not going to wait. Let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So Certis Major, we know what we're dealing with here. We can get rid of that, and we can also go to split screen to look at the openings of these two guys, because I know there are guys out there who like to watch their openings and build orders and get an idea of what might be the most efficient way to start certain maps. So over on the left in the blue corner we have Search and Destroy. He's misclicked and gone Cybrin, and he's opening first land. And over on the right we have Turinturamber in the red corner, who is also opening first land and has also misclicked and gone Cybrin. So it's a Cybrin mirror matchup, which of course means I'll be giving myself a prostate massage after this with an old uranium control rod from a nuclear waste site. Very important that I inform you guys of my plans. And here we go. They're starting work now on the mass extractors. We're going to get second air out from Search and Destroy next to the Hydro. Very much the same order of business there for Turinturamber. Both going 2 mechs, so factory 2 mechs, and then going straight to the Hydro. So definitely some kind of consistent meta happening there for Certis Major. He's going to complete, and then is he going to go straight to the air factory? Well, no, he's going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 T1 P-gens and then go to the air factory, Search and Destroy. And Turinturamber is going to go 1, 2, 3 P-gens and then go to the factory and then get the rest of them on. So almost identical starts for these two. Search and Destroy building 1 extra P-gen there before going to work on the land factory. And he's actually going to move across with his ACU as well and do a distance build to get a couple of land factories online on that second tier of land just above him outside the base. Engineers rolling out now for Turinturamber. He's also got an early Mantis online as well. Be interesting to see which way he deploys that, whether it's at the top or the bottom. Of course, Certis Major, you've got these 2 main passes you've got to contend with, and the middle pass is, of course, guarded by neutral stuff. It's interesting they're not civilian colors anymore. When did they change that, and why? Why is this like a player's color? Always used to be the that kind of beige color for civilian turrets and whatnot. But anyway, those Aeon eruptors in the middle, and of course a radar to give them a bit of intel, and that flak. So that of course has to be taken out, preferably with some T1 artillery if you're going for it early, and of course you know what you're doing. Or of course with the ACU. So we've got a Mantis and a Mole heading north there for Search and Destroy, who's going to try and cover that, or indeed try and send it further in to grab some engineer kills. He's going to struggle if he wants to get down here, because we've already got the Mantis and Mole for Turinturamber covering that. Couple of moles out down here for a little extra intel. Take a look at how that works there. There's the coverage there, so it gives you a little bit of an idea of what's coming your way if you're Search and Destroy. Scout plane out for Turinturamber and interceptor out there for Search and Destroy. Turinturamber going for that early intel straight off the bat. We also have an interceptor completed back here as well. You can see a T1 PD queued up on that, but currently no engineers in the area to get underway. Mantis meet each other, and it's going to be first blood, I suspect, to Turinturamber. Actually, something got killed there, but that was the Mole belonging to Search and Destroy. So both of the units he sent forward there coming a cropper as you would expect them to be. Turinturamber not expanding out to the crossover point between the two areas of the map up there just yet. He's happy to sit back and absorb any incoming harassment without letting key units get past him, potentially threaten his engineers. I actually think that's a pretty sensible decision. Too early on to worry about yielding territory up in the middle. Having said that, you don't want to give it away completely, and we've already got engineers rolling in for Search and Destroy, who's queued up a land factory at the crossover point up here, and he's also got a radar queued up as well as 3 mexes, so taking advantage of that early Search and Destroy, not wasting any time at all. 5 interceptors online for Turinturamber in this portion of the map. He's prioritizing defensive air control, and in fact Mantis continuing to stream in here, and this time Turinturamber has got a T1 PD online, and that's going to be instrumental in shutting down this approach from Search and Destroy. Those Mantis not going to get anywhere near anything sensitive. It would be wise for him to turn around, which is what he's doing, and the Mole is going to make it out of there just before that T1 PD starts landing any shots. 6.7k total harvested there for Search and Destroy. 7.1. It's about a 200 mass advantage in favor of Turinturamber, but Search and Destroy well ahead on generated eco, 33 to 25 at current reading. Of course, all of that very much in flux at this stage in the game. Lots of mass points still to be built upon by both of these players. And just as we've seen, lots of units trickling through the northern approach there from Search and Destroy. Turinturamber making great strides across the southern approach. And Search and Destroy struggling to put a cork in that. Trying to get a land factory online down here. That's not going to get completed as these Mantis for Turinturamber successfully kill off the build capacity down there. Going to pick off a mass extractor. They are under threat from a Medusa there, but quick bit of micro avoids the next incoming shell. And of course, lots of mass extractors waiting to be built upon down here. But first, Search and Destroy needs to stop the flow of T1 that's coming round here, and has now got Mantis sitting in amongst this core mass down here as a result. But the ACUs have both breached the center and have killed off the structures, more or less, with the exception of that Mar. There it goes, one Medusa shell landing there from Search and Destroy. But Turinturamber flooding the breach now with lots of T1. Who's going to get the majority of the mass once that quantum gateway goes down? There it goes. And Search and Destroy suddenly has lots of fire coming his way into the yellow already, thanks to the Medusas and the Mantis back here. He has got forces of his own. He also hasn't opened up a huge amount of wall sections for him to withdraw to. Needs to be very careful here. It's only 7 3/4 minutes gone, and we could have an early exit here. Search and Destroy absorbing a lot of fire, down to 3,700 hit points. Turinturamber's backing up, but I think he can afford to be a bit aggressive here with the way this is going. I think if he had stayed in here, he could potentially have brought this game to an early close, but as such, he is withdrawn and allowed Search and Destroy to scoop almost all of the mass from that quantum gateway. But he is now rolling forward. Who has bagged the most reclaims so far? Well, Search and Destroy has by about 250 mass or so, so not a huge amount in it, but Turinturamber missed an opportunity to get ahead there, and it still not might be over for Search and Destroy, who is now being pursued by his opponent's ACU. 2,000 odd hit points, 2,500 is the buffer you need to survive an explosion from your opponent's comm if you're within that inner radius. And now below 1,000 hit points, Search and Destroy, but he brings in Mantis just in time. And that stalls the approach from Turinturamber, who's going to have to back up and now contend with that, but very nearly lost the game there inside 10 minutes. Search and Destroy still only in the 800 range in terms of hit points. Looking pretty comfortable up top at the northern pass. Southern pass not looking so rosy. Turinturamber more or less firmly in control there. Tech 1 PD in place. Mantis exchange fire. Search and Destroy gonna reposition himself. Doesn't like the look of that. Still though, very, very close indeed on total mass harvested. Looks to be about a 1k advantage, 1 and a bit K advantage there for Search and Destroy. About a 1,100 advantage, something in that order. Also ahead by about 2 mass on generated eco as Turinturamber tries to get in amongst the mass points down here. Once again, he's being pursued by Search and Destroy's Tech 1. I don't think he's got enough Mantis left as the engineers roll in and do a quick reclaim op, take yet more hit points off the Mantis. Some very quick work there from Search and Destroy will allow him to hold on to all of the mass points down there and indeed his mass lead. I think it was never really in any doubt from that push. Operation Eco the Balls Up is now underway for Turinturamber as he tries to catch up with his opponent, who has a good 13 mass lead on him at present. Another little push up top now from Search and Destroy as these two guys try and find any early weakness in their opponent. It's ever so difficult at this level on Certis Major. 3 choke points to get through. A little bit of ridge harassment there from Turinturamber, taking out an engineer and a radar. Yeah, more build capacity under threat from the ridge down here. However, Search and Destroy lying in wait with superior forces should be able to dust this aside. However, he will lose some more engineers down here in the process. Turinturamber needs to be careful, doesn't want to throw away all of his units down here. All he's got holding the breach is one Tech 1 PD. He's rolling in now with more engineers. I'm wondering if he wants to beef that up in terms of replacements. In rolls a Rhino, so Search and Destroy now rolling Tech 2 land into his army. And we've got Tech 3 land in play for Turinturamber, who's basically bypassed T2 and gone straight for T3. It's pretty early. How's his eco holding up with production? Well, he's got a finely balanced power balance going on. Be a different story altogether if he was trying to produce Tech 3 air. Mantis trying to contend with what is now predominantly a Rhino platoon up on the upper tier there. Now Medusa should be able to deal with that autogun, and this could leave a gap for Search and Destroy to exploit. We do, however, see a Loyalist turning up on the scene. A couple more in tow further back. Incredibly fast, of course. And astonishingly, he doesn't hang around with that Medusa to finish off that autogun. Turinturamber not lying in wait with his surprise. Instead, he's going to pursue and try and pick off a couple of units here with this Loyalist. A little bit of micro avoids some of that return fire. Only manages to grab one Rhino for his troubles, though, of course. Loyalist, fantastic in large numbers, but not a lot of damage output. Has that provoked a response? Well, yes, it has. So 32% complete there for Search and Destroy on the Tech 3 upgrade. Doesn't like the look of those Loyalists, the emergence. So these guys really playing tit for tat in the tech game, not throwing a huge amount at each other early on in terms of ground-based aggression. Not a lot going on in the air either, for that matter. That's reflected in the confidence. You're not seeing any kind of upgrades going into mass extractors up here for Search and Destroy. This is expected to be in flux for a while. A couple of T2 mexes could potentially be vulnerable further back if Turinturamber can breach here with these Loyalists up at the top. Still continuing to press with Tech 1 down here as well. Imagine he's going to get too much done further out. Lots of rhinos lying in wait. So that first group of units, that vanguard if you like, have backed up. The structures up here have been destroyed. And now the Loyalists reach the main base, or certainly the outskirts of the main base, and that Tech 3 land HQ. Engineers go to work on some point defense, and there's no way Turinturamber's Loyalists are going to find any time to redirect their fire onto that HQ. Instead, they keep on pushing on towards the power generators. That'd be a nice coup if you could grab a couple of those, but straight into Search and Destroy's HCU. Quick overcharge for you, sir. He's certainly got enough stored power to be using it. Why he's not, beyond me, must be focusing elsewhere. But there go the Loyalists. Search and Destroy now, of course, free to resurrect those mass extractors up on that northern plateau. And now a new group of Loyalists rolling in for Turinturamber through the southern approach. Lots of wall sections have gone up for Search and Destroy. Build capacity that's been working on them doesn't last long at all. Large quantities of Bernie Sanders. Still jazzes me every time I look at them. A guiding EMP going off, of course, stalling everything else. Opposite effect to what happens in real life when socialists pop their clogs. A large detonation of all the wall sections up here for Search and Destroy. Looks like he now wants to make a counter push on this ridge, and it's a good move. There's not a lot down here now with the destruction of the Loyalists. We have more rolling in up here, but only 3. Of course concerned by the other 4 lurking up here, so roving bands of Loyalists, a major feature of Turinturamber's tactics in this one. Large group of scout planes circling over the back of the base there, and now we're seeing more Loyalists queuing up further back, perhaps amassing to take on Search and Destroy's vanguard at the top once again, which is now packing some Loyalist firepower of his own. And this is a nice little run by from Turinturamber, getting in amongst the core mass up here once again. Managed to take any out, however. Redirects his fire at the last moment to the most northerly mass point. That's down to around 2,170 hit points or so. But doesn't manage to get the kill. So Search and Destroy holds on to his economic lead. That's at 130 against 124 at current reading. And he's amassed a pretty sizable advantage thanks to all of the Loyalists that he's had thrown at him from Turinturamber. It's about a 13k advantage in total mass gained over the course of this one. Really is battle of the Loyalists. Now bricks emerging onto the scene for Search and Destroy, and that could be a massive game changer. More Loyalists rolling in, but they're going to struggle to keep up with that damage output. And those bricks able to take out, with the help of those accompanying rhinos, one of the T2 mexes from the ridge there. Loyalists keeping their distance from the bricks, trying to pick off the accompanying units as best they can. More coming in all of the time. Of course, so very slow to turn and redirect their fire. Now under some bombardment from the skies, as well as a Corsair rolls in, or two. And a TAC missile launcher in the center with 3 kills already, going after the mass points of Search and Destroy. I think we really should enable the mini-map for this one. As we know, Guile does not need any help in missing things. He needs all the tools at his disposal. But even with the destruction of those mass points, which I believe were all at Tech 2, there's still a good 14-point mass lead in favor of Search and Destroy. It gives you an idea of just how far ahead he was. And now he's going after the T2 P-Gens. What and everything, if anything, will that do? Well, that will cause major havoc if he loses that. One zapper nearby takes the sting out of that first missile. Oh, you just want to yell at him. Fire another one at it. Go for the P-Gen. It's really going to hurt. Next missile instead going after yet more mass points, which is still a good choice of target. But Turinturamber, mass falling off hugely as he starts to have power issues, dropping below 100, and he needs to get a handle on that very quickly indeed. What on earth is sapping power? Well, it's power construction which is sapping the power. One of those sad necessities, and even that has not sorted it out. He needs another one of those pretty quickly. Oh dear, that's a nasty looking pack of bricks up there from Search and Destroy. Turinturamber going to struggle with that. It's also interesting to remember that Search and Destroy slightly ahead in terms of ladder ranking. Not enough to really make a definitive statement that this is an uphill battle for Turinturamber. They are pretty comparable in terms of standard, you would imagine, and a missile coming in there against that eastern mass extractor on the core mass, just dropping short as it hits the cliff edge. Unfortunate engineer rolling past, just catches the edge of it. Large air frac car in the center goes in the direction in favor of Turinturamber, who now has a pretty sizable advantage in the air game, and the bricks up here that could have done so much damage without any kind of mobile anti-air cover. That's something that Search and Destroy is going to have to invest in now, as he sees Turinturamber move towards the air game. No mobile flak in amongst the unit comp down here as well. That's a lot of Loyalists down here for Turinturamber. Incredibly static game. These guys try to pick off a little bit of eco here and there, but ultimately try to eco up and out-tech each other. Massive Loyalist incursion though now in the south, just rolling over Search and Destroy's army at the bottom of the map. Emergency defenses going up, not at the best angle. Loyalists roll right in, straight over the engineers. There goes the emplacement as quickly as it arrived. Now this could be very significant indeed. As the Loyalists die, the EMP goes out, stalls the bricks, and that's a lot of Loyalists to make a breach down here. This puts all of this eco in jeopardy now for Search and Destroy. And look at the progress Turinturamber's making up top. This is a massive Loyalist revolt now. More T1 defenses going up. The occasional brick lurking around, but nowhere near enough to stem the tide of Bernie and his chums. The last of the engineers die off, and then so too will the emplacements. Wolf sections doing their job very well until finally they succumb to the overwhelming amounts of fire coming their way. Now what has that done to the eco? Well, that's put Turinturamber ahead, 192 to 180. It's got a lot of catch up though in total mass accrued. A 21k advantage Search and Destroy has gathered over the 26 minutes that this game has been running. A lot of that though going, I guess, into infrastructure. Got the T3 P-gens down here, lots of T2 ones. I really can't see any major advantage. Attack missiles still being launched. Still managing to take out Tech 2 mass points. Turinturamber having power issues once again as his mass generation falls off. Vitally important he gets this pack moving once again. They've completed their mission. Everything is in tatters over here with the exception of one Tech 1 mass point down there. To Search and Destroy's credit, he's managed to erect lots of point defense. And they have saved the T2 land factory, which is currently upgrading to Tech 3. But I would be supremely worried about this block of Loyalists down here, which has caused so much damage, torn its way through Search and Destroy's forces, and now threatens the main base as well. We do have a couple of bricks roaming around, 4 to be precise. Quick radar installation going up. Going to be allowed to complete that. There it goes. But now we're seeing ASFs emerge for Search and Destroy, so he has transitioned to Tech 3 Air. We've also got Tech 3 Air on the field there for Turinturamber, so no tech deficit, as it were. But look out, power grid now under threat. But unfortunately, some of the Loyalists get a little bit too close to the Tech 2 power plants as they go up. Oh, goodness me, 61 hit points. Someone sneeze on it. A redirect fire towards the more important iron reactor, but at least make certain of the kill that you could have got before the bricks tear you a new one, which is exactly what happened. And as a result, Search4Destroy holds on to both of those P-gens, which is a pity for Turinturamber, because as you can see, he's right on the breadline now that he's trying to produce Tech 3 air, and he's actually working on whalers now, so that's a real change up. Wants to get to work on the ground game, but I don't actually think he has air superiority or air dominance. Turinturamber seems to have more ASFs on the field, so 9 there for him. Compare that to the 7 that Search4Destroy has got, so certainly no advantage in the air as yet. Perhaps the plan is to get a whaler force online and cover them with some bangers. He's got some mobile flak hanging around the other side of the wall sections that he's walled off the approach through the center. But Turinturamber looking a lot more aggressive, a lot more mobile at the midpoint in this game, or what we assume is the midpoint. Certainly doesn't seem to be any end in sight coming anytime soon. It's one of those awkward maps for ladder. Get two players who are relatively evenly matched. Games can be protracted, which is sometimes pretty stressful from a player's perspective, but it certainly makes good sport for us. On the replay side of things, another incursion now emerging from Turinturamber, and a huge amount of Loyalists bearing down on this force of bricks. I think he's got enough though. And now a second row of Tech 1 point defense, and whalers brought in to boot. Is the run by going to succeed? Well, got a few badly damaged ones in there, but still quite a few ones that are in the green. There go the ASFs to deal with the whalers. Search4Destroy gets his own fighters in the mix as well. Gunships are down. Now it's fighters on fighters, and once again Turinturamber completes the run by, kills off the opposition on the ground, and starts to threaten this southeastern base. All the core mass destroyed once again, and Turinturamber maintains his advantage in eco, 261 to 236. Search4Destroy still ahead overall in total mass gain, but we're not seeing that translate into anything on the ground. Turinturamber playing aggressively and actually looking like it is he who has the advantage in ladder ranking. Another Tech 2 mass point out of commission. Now a good 34-point lead in terms of generated eco for Turinturamber, and yet more Loyalists pouring through the middle. Outrageous amounts of Loyalist production. He has got some bricks now up at base. Perhaps he's getting to the point now where he thinks it might be time to switch up, but this is certainly going to change things up. Monkey Lord under construction and nearly complete. Approaching that all-important 40-odd K, 40, 45K. Turinturamber opening up another avenue of attacks. Going to take a while to chew through all those wall sections, but they're not doing anything else in there, so why not? Another run by on the cards, yet more T1 PD under construction, and this is the problem. Search4Destroy now caught in a cycle, it would seem, of defense production. Hasn't found a way to harass his opponent for the last 15-20 minutes, really. It's all been one-way traffic. the ion reactor be about to go down? Is he going to finish what he started? Yes, he is. Now, what does that do to the power grid? Well, he needs to get the other one as well. One more shot. There it goes. And that just barely bottlenecks him on power once again. Not enough to really cripple him. You can see engineers working on the next ion reactor in the main base, a much more safe position. And once again, the attack peters out. So ground being gained from Turinturamber, but not able to back it up with anything. The Monkey Lord has now been completed, though, and if he can find a way with that to tear a hole, this could be all over. There's now a significant difference between these two guys in eco, 80 mass per tick or so for Turinturamber, and he's even starting to accrue some mass in storage there as well. He's going to start work on another experimental. Well, he's got one queued up, and that's a Soul Ripper there next to the P-Gen. Very cagey, static game this has been so far, but it could be about to be changed up in a massive way with the emergence of Soul Ripper. It might not even take that. It might be down to this Monkey Lord, which is looking like it's going to make a move towards the northern aperture. Well, he needs to be careful. There's a lot of bricks there, and that many bricks will shred Monkey Lord. A better route would be to cut through the middle. Of course, we have the benefit of full vision. But would you look at the Whaler task force that Turinturamber has amassed, even with getting that Monkey Lord online and continuing on Tech 3 ground production. Search and Destroy without the ability really to hit back on those gunships. He has got a Tech 3 land factory here, and if I were him, I'd be working on some flak, and that's what he's doing. He's nearly completed a Monkey Lord of his own. Looks like Turinturamber looking to just harass the brick wall at range. Certainly doesn't want to get into it with them on a personal level. That will end badly for the Spider-Bot. Search and Destroy completes his Monkey Lord. And he just hasn't been able to re-expand down here. He's getting the odd engineer in play now. But it's going to be even harder with those gunships rolling up and down the map. And that Soul Ripper now 40% or so complete. No real commitment to the air game at the moment from Search and Destroy. He's just trying to keep up with the land spam that's been coming his way. Turinturamber taking his opportunity to fire down from the ridge. Gets caught though from bricks on the other side of the emplacements, the wall sections. So he's forced to back up, but he is making ground over here. Search and Destroy is going to have to put his foot down soon and charge the front line. Can't afford to let those trebuchets or that Monkey Lord get in range of any of the structures around here, and he's completed his own Monkey Lord, of course, that's rolling in. He doesn't actually need it, I don't think. There are so many bricks there, he just has to get them in range of the Monkey Lord. For the moment they're focusing on the Loyalist, but a quick change up on targeting parameters means that Turinturamber's Monkey Lord will get brutalized into the red. Down it goes. And now his own Monkey Lord should be able to tidy up those Loyalists very easily indeed. And that leaves a gaping hole in the top of the map for a counter-attack and I really hope Search and Destroy takes advantage of it. Soul Ripper complete. Question is, did he see it? He has been hovering over here with scout planes and spy planes, so he may be aware that it was being worked on. Of course, the perfect counter to what's coming his way up here. Not only the Monkey Lord, but the bricks with no mobile anti-air. Should be able to see it. I don't know why he's not just sending that straight in. Wants to draw him in a little bit more. Perhaps he just wants to get that hunk of mass in a more favorable position so he can get build capacity out to chomp on it. But in comes the Soul Ripper, in comes the Whalers. And it won't take long to chew through the 54,000 hit points on board the Monkey Lord. ASF's posturing there for Search and Destroy. He's actually gained a lead, so he was well aware of the danger, and that's forced the gunships to withdraw. So, cagey play. T1 Inties get to play their part. They're out of fuel. They're not of much use anymore, but can still fire back and cause some problems. Turinturamber now urgently needs to prioritize ASF production so he can keep the gunships in play. Recognizing the threat, more bangers being produced over here, so it's a real tit-for-tat battle in this one. These guys matching each other play for play almost perfectly. Another Monkey Lord complete, another one on the way, and another one queued up after that. That second one there, or it would be third one in the game for Search and Destroy, reaching about 50% complete. What's going on in the main base? Well, we've got a Megalith under construction there for Turinturamber. At least looks to be about 60% done. And Turinturamber, though, so far ahead in eco, it's scary. 322 versus 203. That is partly because Search and Destroy is having major power issues. Trying to get more power plants online to sort that out. Just needs one or two more ion reactors and should have that sewn up without too much difficulty. We'll see what the final mass totals are when he's in positive power. Have to come back to that shortly. Scout planes fly overhead there for Search and Destroy, trying to get a bit of intel. One single mistake at this point from either player and that could be it. Huge quantities of Loyalists amassing up here. T1 PDs going up at a significant rate. Only 4 kills so far on that Soul Ripper. He's repped up the small amount of damage that was inflicted upon it. Megalith nearly complete now. And would you look at that? So, pretty significant catch-up there from Search and Destroy. He's reclaiming a lot at the moment, but it looks to be about 289 versus 322. Still in favor of Turinturamber, but it's a lot healthier than it was about 10 minutes ago. Megalith online. Where's he heading with it? Is he going to bring it north with everything else, or is he going to take it southward? Looks like it's heading north. This seems to be where the majority of the action is due to take place in the immediate future. 41 minutes now gone in this game. We're still not really any closer to seeing anyone taking a clear lead. I mean, yes, we've got a lead in mass totals, but Turinturamber unable to translate that into any major strategic lead. Using some of those TAC missile sitting idly in the silos there. It's just putting down some damage on the bricks up here at the top. Overestimating how much damage they do. They need a second one to finish off the bricks. Throw in a couple of trebuchet shells as well. Why not? And it seems to be like an investment in the air game is Turinturamber's next move. Lots of Tech 3 factories under construction in the main base. Search and Destroy, terrified of a Mazacom coming his way, gets to work on a massive Tech 1 PD battery around his commander. Megalith now brought in. Of course, will be able to range everything on the ground, or outrange everything on the ground there for Search and Destroy. Let's take a look at air superiority totals. 43 there for Turinturamber and 40 for Search and Destroy. So it's still very, very tight on air power. Two of the spider bots we saw being produced earlier for Search and Destroy heading south. It's going to run into some bricks down here, but the arrival of the second Monkey Lord should be enough to keep the first one alive. There we go, and still with a reasonably healthy margin there, about 15-16k left on that lead Monkey Lord. Turinturamber will be wanting to defend with his gunships and that experimental gunship, but he can't risk exposing them to Search and Destroy's air force. Probably feint with them first and provoke a response and then get involved. Even if both air forces are wiped out in the exchange, that'll be good enough for Turinturamber. He won't be worried about that. Search and Destroy will be worried about this, however. And strap bombers brought in straight onto the Megalith. Only one bomb was actually dropped in that first pass, but those strap bombers are going to be intercepted by the ASFs up at the top of the map. So definitely not a good exchange there for Search and Destroy. We'll take a quick look at mass killed, and you can see Turinturamber has been massively more efficient, 192 to 153. So huge advantage there for Turinturamber, and he does bear out in the story of play. Doesn't always happen in games, doesn't always mean that you've killed more and you're definitely in the lead or you have a significant advantage. I think we're starting to see a tactical or strategic advantage now emerging for Turinturamber as he ousts Search and Destroy from that northern position. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of gubbins on the ground though for Search and Destroy, so he needs to be careful. And it's going to be essential that he keeps his micro in check with that Megalith as Bricks and Monkey Lords converge on that position. Needs to get that backtracking going. If I were him, I'd be bringing the Soul Ripper into play right about now as well. We do have some T3 anti-air and some T2 as well, but not a huge amount. Definitely needs to get that Megalith turned around. He was concerned, I'm guessing, by the pace at which it was approaching, but there goes the order for the entire air force of Turinturambers to converge. ASF's running screen first of all. Whalers brought in on the Monkey Lord. Goodness me, Search and Destroy had more stuff than I thought. Mass yells Search and Destroy in local chat. In comes the ASFs now for both parties, and the inevitable conflict resumes. The Soul Ripper bugs out, and the Megalith was run over. I can't believe it. It looked at first on paper like that was a pretty significant advantage for Turinturamber as the ASFs continue to tangle over here, over the top of lots and lots of ground-based anti-air. And suddenly, Search and Destroy has a huge advantage up top and also down at the bottom as well. Those two Monkey Lords we saw earlier look like they can continue to press on, seemingly uncontested. The Soul Ripper is brought in. This looks like a desperation play now. He's hunting for a commander to kill. He knows he's lost the game. Down goes the Soul Ripper as it reaches the shield gen that's protecting the comm. There's not going to be any secret tele-snipe attempt on the way. Only a Tech 3 engineering suite on board Turinturamber's commander. And I can't believe the collapse. It looked like Turinturamber was in good shape, but everything accompanying that Megalith up top was pretty much Loyalist firepower, and they just don't contend when they go up against bricks, and that's what you've seen here. And now a massive advantage in the air for Search and Destroy, a massive advantage on the ground. There are two Monkey Lords coming out for Turinturamber, but they're about to face another brick wall, and that never ends well for Monkey Lords. The first one is going to get annihilated, and the second one shouldn't fare too much better either. Strap Bombers brought in for a couple of Strap Bombs from Turinturamber, but that's not going to help. More reinforcements coming in from behind, and the two lead Monkey Lords we saw at the bottom rolling in as Search and Destroy throws out the well-played in local. Turinturamber doesn't agree. He's not happy with the way he's played this at the end here. One colossal mistake at the end, and a control K from the commander from Turinturamber brings this one to a close, almost on the nose of 50 minutes. Search and Destroy wins, and I gotta say, I didn't think he was going to at all. He was on the back foot for about half an hour, pretty much. Turinturamber with a massive advantage, just couldn't turn it into anything. And I thought it looked like he was going to up here, but I didn't read the unit comp correctly, as I think Turinturamber perhaps didn't either. He thought he had the better composition of units, the advantage with the Megalith, where he could continue to harass at range. And of course the backup of the gunship power, and he actually had an advantage. At the last time we checked, an advantage in ASF numbers that might have potentially changed at the last moment, but still it was the conflict over and above all of the mobile anti-air of Search and Destroy, which basically destroyed all of his anti-air, but he'd already been done for on the ground at that point anyway. So it only would have been a matter of contain for Turinturamber, but stunning work by Search and Destroy. Well played, both guys. Very entertaining. A long, a slow game at times, but entertaining nonetheless. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I certainly did myself. As always, more to come from me in the future. Don't forget, if you feel so inclined, guys, you can support me on Patreon. But until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.